Hey there, folks. Welcome to another edition of Stranger in a Southern Land. I, of course, am your host, Jake Manning. Today in the program, we have David from the Tin Kitchen, the food truck Tin Kitchen, that is. And I'm very excited to have David on the program because he's one of my first food truck interviews. And also, he was one of the first food trucks here in Charlotte. He was here before that wave crested and had Food Truck Friday being one of the most popular things to do here in Charlotte. So I'm very excited to have David on the program to give me all the ins and the outs of this whole crazy food truck craze. So I'm very excited about that, but I'm also very excited to let you know where I'm going to be at this weekend. July 18th, this Saturday, I will be in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee for IAA Deep South for the Softcore Cup. Very unique tournament, very interesting tournament, very wonderful cast of characters. You have Chuck Taylor, Joey Ryan, Cliff Compton, Big Donnie, and Freight Train will be there. And of course, myself and many more. So make sure you come out for that. But I can't be dicking around so long in Tennessee. I have to hurry up and get back because I will be performing at the Comedy Zone at 7 p.m. for Funny on the Fly. That's where I get my material right 30 minutes before I go on stage. I get the topics I talk about, and I have to write material in 30 minutes. So if I suck, you'll know why, but I promise I won't suck. Scout's honor, I won't suck. So make sure you come out for Funny on the Fly this Sunday, July 19th at the Comedy Zone in Charlotte. For more information, go on their website, cotcomedyzone.com. Anyways, if you want to get up with me on social media, make sure you follow me on Twitter at ManScoutManning and on Instagram at ManScoutManning. If you have a question about the podcast, make sure you email me at jake@sslshow.com. Or if you want to book me for an upcoming wrestling event, make sure you email me at manscoutmanning@yahoo.com. Anyways, without further ado, let's jump to this wonderful podcast with David from the Tin Kitchen here on Stranger in a Southern Land. David, thank you so much for having me here today. David of Tin Kitchen, you're busy getting ready to hit the road and sell your wares on the street. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day.
Yeah, thanks for coming by.
Oh, well, I appreciate it and stuff like that. Food trucks interest me. They've been kind of exploding recently, and I don't, and some people seems like they're frustrated with restaurants, so they say, here's a niche market, or we're jumping in. Let's back up a little bit, and let's see where you jumped in as far as food goes. Were you always passionate about food, or?
I certainly originally didn't consider that to be kind of the direction I was going to take. I was in the furniture industry for a while right out of college, and then, back in 2008, people stopped buying houses, and furniture was pretty much right after that. Mm-hmm. So the only thing I'd ever really done was kind of cook in college and stuff, and I always liked it. So I was kind of sitting there with, no furniture job anymore, and was like, all right, well, I guess I'll go back to the restaurant. People got to eat every day, so I did that.
Yeah, they definitely got to do that. They can stop buying homes, but that eating stuff you got to do every day.
It's critical, for sure. So I moved out to Portland, Oregon, and worked at a really cool restaurant out there. And I kind of did some other things prior to moving out there before I actually so I was already in the kitchen, I guess, before I went. Moved out there, got a job at a really great restaurant, kind of right outside the Pearl District in Portland, in Northwest, and really liked it. It was an incredible company to work for, and I probably would still be there, actually, if I hadn't met my wife. So met my wife, moved to Charlotte, kind of chasing her before she was my wife. Mm-hmm. Got here, worked in a few restaurants, on the Charlotte scene, and then wanted to kind of do my own thing, but I didn't have enough money to.
Well, which ones in particular did you work at?
So I started out down in Fort Mill, actually in Baxter Village at the fish market, mm-hmm. Which was a lot of fun, great crew, and then actually a chef from Portland moved here to open a restaurant with some investor group called Kalu Asian Kitchen, which was a really awesome restaurant that was very short-lived. We won top 20 restaurants in America, but I frankly, I think those guys chose the wrong location. There were some other more stereotypical managerial problems.
Of course.
I won't delve into.
Yeah.
But they had some issues. Ultimately, the money ran out, and so we opened. Had this huge, great review. John Mariani flew down from New York. It was awesome. And then very shortly after that, they ran out of money and we closed. And so I was kind of left like, okay, what do I do now?
Well, that's the thing. Is you went through furniture, and obviously that didn't turn out. Now you're in food, and you're running into these obstacles. But what made you stick with food, where furniture there were some obstacles? And I'm like, let's find something different.
Well, I mean, honestly, I liked it more. I mean, peddling furniture is pretty dull.
Yeah, I can see
that.
Not
awesome. I mean, it's not the same. And maybe it's for some people. I don't know. It wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
I very much like the active. I mean, we're in it. The tickets start printing and you're going.
Mm-hmm. It's excitement.
I very much enjoyed that component, and obviously I was very proud of the food that we were doing. We were doing things in our own unique way, which is what we do here. So I mean, we sort of, that restaurant went out of business, and I had, over the course of the time I had been working in the restaurant industry, had really been pretty careful about setting some money aside. And like I said, I didn't have $500,000 to go build a restaurant, but I did have enough to start a food truck. So that's what we did.
About what year was that? Like how long ago was that?
We bought the truck in September of 2011. We built it out mostly ourselves. I had somebody install the propane and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
Most of it we did ourselves, which in the fit and finish, some of the corners might not be quite as polished as if a professional did it, but it works great. So we did that in September of 2011. We sort of kind of piddled around with it for the first 3 or 4 months, and then we really, we were open for various small things, but we weren't like running full tilt, really until about January of 2012, and that's kind of when we actually started gaining traction. It was really difficult to get spots, and that was really what the delay was at the beginning. Is no one was doing this. I mean, there were a few people.
I have
out
to say,
there.
because that seemed like a little bit before, like it became a regular thing, in most places.
Yeah, so I mean, there were
there was always those Mexican taco carts parked outside of like Home Depot
Sure.
or wherever else. But like as far as like the food truck phenomenon, really hadn't happened by about that time that you're speaking of.
Yeah, that's right. And we weren't the first truck, but we were like the third or fourth one. And so a lot of the time what would happen is I would go somewhere to some office building or wherever and say, hey, I want to park my food truck here. And people look at me like like I wasn't speaking English. Like, what are you talking about? What's a food truck? So that it took a while to gain traction. And there were some months at the beginning where I was going, oops,
this was
dumb. And then actually, so like Noda Brewing Company, they were the first people to give us a regular look. I mean, we had people like try it once or twice and they still didn't get it. And then, I sat down with Noda Brewing Company's owners, and they, had obviously been traveling around to all these different breweries before they opened. So they had kind of seen other areas of the country, and they let us do it.
They at least saw the potential of it.
Yeah, they did, and it was a good partnership, I think, all the way around. And so we started there. They were our very first regular, every weekly spot sort of a thing.
Because it seems like there's good marriage there, especially a brewery that's not serving food.
Yeah.
Eventually they're going to get hungry, but instead of them starting their own kitchen and dealing with that headache, you just roll in, serve your food, roll back out.
They get to focus on what they're good at, and they don't have to deal with it. And so, that was the first one, and then from there sort of randomly started getting more and more spots, and, it took a while. I mean, it really did. It didn't really take off until probably April of 2012 was when we actually, we were getting the locations and we were selling stuff every day, but it was very much, scraping by, just trying to make it work.
Just barely getting in the black, probably.
Yeah, and well, honestly, in the first few months, we lost money.
Well, yeah, with any business, it works out
sure. And so, I think a combination of more people opening trucks and the Food Network shows and the weather.
Just people understanding what it is.
They started getting it, and in April, we really started getting, positive traction. It was really moving. To give you an idea, Food Truck Friday is one of the most well-known events in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning, we would go out there, and we were there at the beginning of that event, and there were 2 or 3 trucks back then, and we would feed like 15 or 20 people. And that, I mean, we literally would just sit there all winter and freeze to death and serve food to almost nobody. And then it started clicking, you know, and then it was 50, and then it was 70, and then it was 90, and you know, now we'll go out there. I mean, on Friday we'll probably feed 400 people this Friday just on our truck, and there's 14 trucks out there now. You know, so it's really gained a lot of steam, and that kind of started in April of 2012, and just sort of that momentum continued on until now. So,
well, in that 2012 era, how many employees did you have? Was it just you? Or?
One at the beginning.
One.
I had one guy, and then a part-time, super part-time cashier that would help out kind of intermittently. He stayed with us for a while actually, and he just now kind of finished college and went on to do something else. He was here for 3.5 years or so. So yeah, it was just two of us, really two of us.
Like I said, now I've just seen 4 people walk by in the last 30 seconds, and multiple employees now.
Yeah, so we have 19 total. People.
Oh wow, that's far more than what I would have expected.
Yeah, well, and we have people running around doing catering drop-offs and different things. You know, some of the guys you saw that, you know, our executive chef is back there, and he's usually kind of always here. We've got 2 different truck managers, a guy who kind of oversees the truck operations, and then 4 of the people we do have a cafe that is open 5 days a week, and 4 of the employees are over there, and it's the same 4 people every day, and you know, it's a good little business in kind of one of the uptown high rises. So that's 4, and then we've got 15 here that handle our truck and catering operations.
Okay. Well, when you were deciding, like, every truck's usually got their own little niche as far as their menu and what they serve and stuff like that. You know, looking through your menu, has it been the same menu since the beginning, or what was kind of the theme you were going for when you opened up?
No. Well, I mean, it hadn't really. I wouldn't say it's changed. It's expanded.
Okay.
So at the beginning, it was just tacos, and the option was you got 2 tacos and one side, and I forget what it was back then. It was $7.50 or $8 or something, and you know, for a variety of reasons, people wanted to mix and match, and they wanted different combinations of stuff, and we sort of started supplementing that. Now we've got you know, taco options, slider options. We have a handful of different quesadillas that we do, salads, nachos. So we just really started kind of adding things as we got bigger and better at what we were doing, so to speak.
Yeah. And it seems like it's very easy. You can pre-make the meat, to set it up, and then you just got to piece it together in the truck.
It depends on the item. Some of the stuff is cooked to order. I mean, obviously we don't cook barbecue to order anywhere. So that's done here, you know, at our commissary kitchen. It really just depends. You know, and each item is a little bit different. They all have, you know, slightly different components. Some of them may share a component or two that kind of cross over, but you know, for example, like shrimp, we cook those to order. You know, the same thing would be, you know, the pork belly, we finish that in the truck, so that's nice and crispy.
So there's a little bit of cooking going on in the truck, and then it's kind of it all really depends on what it is.
Exactly. It's about half and half, you know, that stuff that's done on the truck and stuff that's actually done here. And the big bulk items, we have a prep crew, and, you know, they make brisket all the time, just, you know, 400 pounds a week. So that kind of goes on behind the scenes, and people don't really see that. But if you were to look in the window of the truck, you can see us. You know, there's a full stove in there, full range. So they cook a lot of that stuff there.
Had that process always been that way before, or did you do more cooking in the truck to starting off?
Yeah, I mean, it's been, again, it's sort of been up and down. It's changed a little bit.
Yeah.
But not more or less, just kind of
bigger and better.
Yeah, exactly. So it goes around. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely more live action stuff now because we are busier, but item by item, I really don't know. I'd have to go back and like sit down and try to figure that out. So, you know, like I said, it's about half and half. Really is about half and half.
Okay. Well, when you started getting a little bit of traction yourself, did you start to see more of an explosion with other people in food trucks in the Charlotte area?
Yeah, definitely. And you know, each truck, each group out there, they all have their different cuisine. Everybody has different goals, a different model. You know, our focus has been largely in catering, whether that involves the food truck or not. That's a lot of what we do. And, you know, other trucks do it differently. And I don't think there's a right or a wrong way necessarily. Just, you know, some people go to events and they focus on going to events, and I personally don't like to pay $500 to go be at an event. I have a different model that I like. And it's not wrong or right, but there definitely been, some of the well-known trucks around town. Poppy Queso and Hot Box and Ooey Barbecue. I mean, there are a bunch of them. We've sort of surged through all of this together, and I certainly don't think that we couldn't have done it on our own, but I also think we played a huge part in it.
Yeah, because they have to have a positive experience with the business owner, and then you can come. Like it's a situation of, if a food truck does something to hurt a business or hurt a location, or people don't want a food truck there, it kind of is reflected upon everybody as far as that goes. But if somebody it does a positive thing, like you park outside of a brewery, and then like another brewery is like, I want a food truck here because it seems like there's a lot of good business that way. It seems like if a food truck does something good for a business or a community, they want more food trucks there, or their rival competitors will want somebody there.
Well, and I think, and it's not so much of an issue now. Mm-hmm. I think that at the beginning there was a lot of pushback from a variety of different businesses that either didn't get it or didn't like us or whatever. So whenever the city was going through their process of rewriting the food truck laws, which technically I don't think is still quite wholly wrapped up.
Yeah, because I know there was a particular instance of you couldn't park like every 24 hours or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there were a whole bunch. We could have a whole separate podcast about that.
Well, we can have it right now if you want.
It's not as interesting as you might think. But there were a lot of rules that were outdated. I mean, I don't want to say restrictive, just not current. And to give you an example, a lot of restaurants pushed back. They don't want food trucks close to restaurants. So when they were rewriting that, they were going to change that law so that we could be closer. And there was a large misconception about what happened when food trucks were there. And the fact of the matter is, food trucks do generate excitement. And that's not to say you would want a burger truck outside of your burger restaurant, but as a general rule, I have a restaurant in Uptown. I park my truck outside of the restaurant on Thursdays. I let other trucks park their trucks there on other days of the week. It doesn't affect it. The people, they're not the same customer as a general rule. And the one thing it does do is generate excitement. So people that maybe coming to see that truck, maybe they didn't know my restaurant was there. So that was a huge component. I mean, obviously the breweries were an obvious partnership that nobody cared about. I mean, everybody's like, great, cool, do that.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of pushback on like I said, that restaurant thing and other areas as well. But that was a big one. And if you look around the country, it was the same thing. All the restaurants going, no. But once they kind of started letting them do it, it became a positive thing. And the same thing goes with working with other trucks. I mean, Food Truck Friday, obviously, for example, Poppy Queso does a great job out there. I mean, everybody does a great job, but Poppy Queso has a very busy truck. If he's not there, it affects the flow of the whole rally. Same for me. Same for some of the other really busy trucks. And there are newer trucks that are kind of still establishing themselves, and hopefully they'll get there. But it's noticeable. I mean, if he's not there, I can tell just by what happens. It's, you can always overdo it. You don't want too many people there, but as a general rule, it generates a lot of excitement and a really positive vibe, and it's a lot of fun, and people like that.
So mostly it was just the restaurants and stuff like that. No issues with like parking, because parking is always an issue and takes up space.
City parking, parking on the street. Obviously, I mean, you certainly can't block traffic, and there, you can't be in the city street.
Yeah.
You can be on private property, and again, I mean, it is a long list of stuff, and some of it's good and some of it's bad.
Because it seems like it would almost hinder your business, which is obviously an industry that's growing and employing more and more people as you go. You want those type of businesses being successful. It's the same rules that exist for like brewers and distillers in the state. There's so much litigation, so many rules and regulations that just strangle that industry from growing bigger than what it can be.
Yeah. I mean, it's each industry, regardless of what it is, has got these challenges, and
especially a new and one growing in as fast popularity as food trucks and breweries and other such things.
Yeah, and that's, I think, what happened with the legislation for us. There were these rules that existed before food trucks really were what they were, and then it kind of just was like, boom, and it blew up, and everything was out of date, and they were trying to catch up. And, I mean, I really didn't feel like, I went to a lot of those meetings, town hall meetings and stuff, and for the most part, I didn't think there was much malicious activity there. I think it was just kind of like, what is happening?
We don't know what this is.
How do we manage this? How do we? Obviously, it's the city. I mean, they want to get money out of it. Like with
obviously,
anything.
yeah.
I mean, everybody wants to get money, and so they were trying to figure out how do they, what fees do they charge, and how do they get their taxes and all of that stuff. But I think ultimately the whole thing was good. I mean, it ultimately ended up where a lot of people got on the same page, and you never get everything you want, but for the most part, I thought it was actually really productive.
Okay. Like I said, food trucks are a very growing industry. It's really booming, especially in this city as of late. That's for sure. I've just noticed in the last couple years, just more and more food trucks everywhere. What is it that you do to stand apart from all the other food trucks?
I mean, I think one of the things that's made us successful is that our food's a little different. We aren't really, you can't really stereotype. I mean, yeah, we have tacos, but we're not a taco truck, and it's not Mexican.
You don't want to be a niche inside of a niche market.
Yeah, I mean, we have, it's funny, we talk about this internally all the time, like how do we describe what we do? And I mean, the answer is we put a lot of thought into why we put things together, and there's a reason, like this dish, there's a kind of a cause behind it almost. For example, we have a buffalo cauliflower slider. It's really popular. Well, that whole thing is based on the idea of a play on a vegetarian chicken wing as a sandwich. You get the meatiness from the cauliflower. It has a nice meaty texture. It's char grilled. You finish it in buffalo sauce in the saute pan. The celery root slaw is a play on your celery stick, and then blue cheese crumbles is a play on your blue cheese dressing. And I don't know how consciously or unconsciously people get it, but they have seemed to understand that we're playing with it. I mean, it's fun. We try to come up with an adjective for that, and the only thing we could come up with was freestyle. I mean, we really just do what we want. We do what we love, and for whatever reason, people got it, and they seem to respond. I mean, they didn't get it on day one, but over time, they were like, "Wow, this is really cool. It's really unique. You can't get a lot of the stuff that we do anywhere else." In the city or the state or the country for the most part. And a lot of the stuff is unique to what we are. And I think people appreciate that. So.
And being unique is in the sense of if you have a favorite restaurant, it's in the same location all the time. But when you do a food truck, it moves around.
Yeah.
What do you have a certain strategy in the way that you move, or a certain routine, or?
We do. And again, I mean, this kind of goes back to the point of every truck does it a little differently. What's been successful for us is regularity. So on Thursday, I go to my Thursday spots. Everybody on Thursday knows that on Thursday we'll be here and then here.
So a couple different locations on Thursday. You have a lunch spot on Thursday.
Yeah, some days is lunch and dinner. Some days is, for example, Monday. We tried Monday nights. Not to say we don't do things occasionally, but typically speaking, it's not very busy on Monday nights.
Yeah.
We're at home. We do lunch and dinner on Tuesdays. It's always the same spot. Now that doesn't mean I haven't changed them. Some stuff didn't work out at the beginning, and we've shuffled stuff around. But for example, my Friday spot for lunch, I've been there for 3 years probably.
Where do you want to be for a lunch crowd? You want to be downtown, or where do you want to be?
I mean, downtown's great. Anywhere with we have a couple downtown locations. Anywhere with high population density is great. Business parks with no restaurants nearby is obviously a good second choice for lunch. Places where the vibe fits with kind of what we're doing. For example, I mean, this is not our truck, but this is a great example. Poppy Queso goes to Sleepy Poet. That's where a lot of the people that like his stuff shop on Saturdays. He goes there. It works. I was surprised that it works for him, and we don't go there, but like it works for him, and it's great, and he's really busy. So we try to find, again, I mean, breweries were obvious. I mean, tonight, like for example, the truck just left a few minutes ago. They're at Birdsong Brewing Company tonight. So that different places work for different reasons. We got to where we're where we are now by trial and error. At the beginning, it was hard. people think they're going to get into this and sell 100 tacos, and all of a sudden you got $1 million. That's not the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. You have to get out there, and it's hot, and it's long days, challenging, and and over that kind of through that process, you learn. Okay, well, these people seem to really be responding for whatever reason, and it's not even. I could even stereotype a demographic. I mean, each location's a little different, but these people seem to really get what we're doing. Good spot. We'll stay there. That sort of thing. But yeah, like I said, I mean,
so it's almost like you just kind of camp up, see what happens if it fit with the vibe of the place. Do you keep going to a spot that's like, this is going to be a good spot eventually if we just keep coming here?
Well, yeah.
Is it more of a grinding that way, or is it like, okay, we found a good spot and we've got it?
Again, I mean, each one's a little different. Typically what I'll look for is we'll go. Obviously I know what it costs me on a baseline level to go out, given all the stuff that we do. And so I'm okay losing money on the first day if for some reason that happens, even on the second or the third time. But I need to see it tracking in the right direction. And yeah, you can just tell. I mean, nobody knows that you were there, but all the people that found out were really excited about it, and then they bring their friends the second time. That sort of thing really kind of leads you, in the right direction. But I mean, other trucks do it differently. Some people go to different locations all the time and tweet about it. I mean, it works for them, I guess. Well,
that just brings up a point there. It seems like food trucks, social media, and technology is extremely important.
Yeah.
Especially, you want to find out where it is as far as buzz and letting people know you exist. So like I said, you don't have a physical location that you're like, okay, we're in Plaza Midwood, the place to go to eat in Plaza Midwood is this place. You're all different parts of the city. So it seems like social media is extremely important.
It is. And it's, different platforms have kind of different uses, I guess. Mm-hmm. But, Facebook and Twitter have been huge for us. That's how we let people know what's going on. Instagram has been awesome for other reasons.
Like for what kind?
Like for example, getting people generally excited about what we're doing on more of a broad level. That platform, for example, there are a lot of different things you can do with imagery there that you can. Instagram,
it's more of a brand, something you can use to brand yourself.
More branding. Whereas Twitter and Facebook are more like, we're here at this time, see you in an hour, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. And of course we put out all kinds of stuff. Things that we think are cool that other restaurants are doing or breweries are doing. Almost always it revolves around food, but even not all the time. What we're making, we do. That's a huge component. Hey, here's us making all kinds of this, whatever it is, pork belly or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's a huge component. So, there's kind of two facets. Here's where we are. This is what we're serving, and this is who we are is kind of the other facet. And again, they kind of work differently. Each individual platform has its merits, and not everybody's on all of them, which is tricky. Yeah. But that's kind of how we do it.
Okay, and but like I said, you don't have a physical location, but you do have obviously a location where you prep and you have your own cafe and stuff like that. Can we discuss where we are right now physically?
Sure.
We were behind the First Baptist Church,
yeah,
and how did this partnership come about?
Well, that really is a long story. They were looking to make a change for a variety of reasons in what they had going on here.
At First Baptist Church, if we haven't made it clear.
Yeah, correct. And so they approached us sort of through mutual acquaintances is kind of how that came about. And we were able to sort of reach a deal where we were able to save the church money, and we provide different things have different costs associated with them on both ends. We were able to save them money on their food service operations, and we were also able to then rent space we're on Davidson Street in the middle of Uptown. I couldn't have gotten a better location than this.
With a nice loading dock, big parking lots.
Yeah, lots of employee parking. So that was a win for us, and then they saved a bunch of money on their end. So it was sort of just mutual needs led us to where we are. Like I said, we provide a lot of services for them. We take care of all of their food service that goes on in this facility, which is different week to week. So that's kind of one component of I mean, I wouldn't really say that's our business. That's kind of our part of our lease package, so to speak. But it like I said, it's been as with anything, there's always challenges, but overall it's been a great fit, and I think we were able to help them and they were able to help us.
Okay. That's great. And you said you have a little cafe on Tryon Street.
We do.
How shortly after was that after the food truck, obviously, and then?
Yeah.
And
So
what was the thought process behind that? Just trying to have a physical location yourself, or?
Again, that was sort of something that we stumbled upon. We weren't looking to do that. The company that owned that building at that time, they have since sold the building, they're a huge REIT, and they were redeveloping kind of a large part of that area, and approached us, and the vice president of the company had eaten at our truck at some point, and thought we were doing things really well and thought it was neat. And so he called me and he said, "Hey, I want you to come open a restaurant in my building." And I literally laughed in his face. I was like, "Wait, what building? Oh, it's 20 stories tall." Ha ha ha! Very fun, good joke. But he was persistent. He was like, "I tell you what, bring your food truck over here," which is where we go on Thursdays for lunch, by the way. Mm-hmm. Bring your food truck over here. I'm gonna have all these people downstairs, and we're gonna eat at your truck. And I was like, "Sure." This is still very much in the beginning, so we still only had. The day that we went out there, it was
You're like,
me.
"Yeah, buddy, I have a hard time parking it just down the street from you."
So we showed up. We had probably never done more than 40 or 50 people in one service at that time. And I don't know the actual head count of people that he had down there, but it was ridiculous. And we showed up it was me and one other guy, and we got our butts kicked. And I mean, it was a well over triple what we normally would do. We ran out of food, actually. I had no idea that would happen. So we ran out of food. We didn't even get to all the people. And he waited about 3 hours, and then he called me back, and he was like, "You want to come back tomorrow?" I was like, "Absolutely."
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that relationship started. And we still maintain a really close relationship with them, that group and other groups for a variety of reasons. That we've become friends with a lot of those people. So we again, we're able to kind of find a fit that wasn't really something we were looking for, but ended up being a great deal for everybody. They had a building amenity that was different from, not saying Subway's bad, but it was different from what Subway does. We offered something different.
Yeah.
And we got a location for a great deal and got to open another business that we weren't even planning on. So. It's a great little spot. It's certainly not retiring next year, but it does well. It's very consistent. We know a lot of the people in the building, so it's a good little spot.
Oh, good. It seems like you got it pretty well set up. You got your food truck. You got a nice facility to do your prep. You got your cafe going. Now the question is, do you kind of keep going like this, or is there room for expansion, or where's your thought process as far as the business goes?
Growth is obviously something.
Like, are you one of those guys like, if I just get a little more and get, build that empire a little bit bigger?
I mean, I think for us, what we want to do, I mean, obviously, again, everybody wants to make more money, and
obviously.
But I think there's a balance to that, and for us, I think what we're trying to do is we want to create something really cool and unique, and I want to give that, I want to provide that service to a variety of different, kind of outlets. So. I mean, I guess the short answer is yes. I mean, are we going to try and keep growing? Yeah. Do I have that defined? I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, will we open another restaurant at some point?
You get a second truck, third truck, or
the second truck actually will be delivered next month. That's already ordered. So that's on the immediate horizon, and that was something we always knew we were going to do. Catering growth and we have a really fun and unique catering menu that's different from kind of traditional catering, in presentation, in the vibe that we bring to an event. Those are the two areas that we're really focused on right now. But I certainly wouldn't rule out, a restaurant. I don't know if we'll do it in a kitchen restaurant or some other restaurant. I don't know. I mean, we'll see what opportunities present themselves, and then we'll make the best decision we can make at that time, and hopefully it's the right one. So
Yeah, it's just another CEO will just give you another truck and tell you to outfit another menu.
Yeah,
Or
we'll see.
We'll see.
There are a lot of opportunities. Charlotte is a great place. You know, I think we got really lucky here. Again, I mean, this wasn't a place I was moving. I sort of landed here by accident. And I think we hit it at the right time. Food probably 2 months too early. The first couple months were rough, but we caught the food truck and the restaurant scene here right when it was really starting to get traction, and we've been able to kind of help. You know, it's certainly not all on us, obviously, but we've been able to kind of help push that movement in the right direction, along with a whole host of other, you know, restaurant groups here in town. And, you know, it's also helped us. I mean, people are naturally becoming more in tune with food and what they're eating and why, you know, how did it get there to my plate? And so I think, you know, while we help shape it, and we're the beneficiaries of that.
Awesome. Well, as we get towards the end here, and I know you got to run off for a meeting, so I don't want to keep you any longer than that. Please let everybody know that the social medias and how people can get up with you, find out where your truck is, and everything else.
Sure. So, I mean, we use most social media platforms that you would think of. Instagram, obviously we're on Pinterest, Facebook, Flickr, Foursquare, Twitter. Might have gotten them all there. And everything is just the Tin Kitchen. It's all the Tin Kitchen, or, you know, you can email us at info@thetinkitchen if you have questions. info@thetinkitchen.com.
And that's how I got up with you. So obviously somebody's answering it. So.
Yeah. And so we have, you know, on the back end, you know, obviously you saw a lot of the cooks. Well, we have an office that you can't see from here, right up there actually. And you know, we've got a couple of people that sort of help. You spoke with Amy, in particular, but that, you know, McKinley handles our weddings and you know, kind of the events, the galas and things that we do. And Amy handles kind of a different type of event, more food truck oriented event. So they're kind of in the back end really helping me stay sane, honestly, because there's so much different information that's coming in all the time.
Yeah, because you got a kitchen, right? You can't be worried about your Twitter account.
Yeah. Well, the social media stuff is all the cooks.
Oh, okay.
So our,
you gotta delegate it to
managers,
them.
our managers each have different responsibilities that they're, you know, handling. And Danny, for example, who runs both, you know, our truck operations, he handles a lot of the stuff that we, you know, are doing on a day-to-day basis is him. Nick and I will handle. Nick is my partner. You know, in the Tin Kitchen, he and I handle sort of the branding side of it, and like this is who we are, and Daniel kind of do this is what we are, and Javier, who's our executive chef here, will handle. Hey, these are cool things that are going on in the kitchen today, not on the truck. And we try to balance that. You know, we don't want to bombard everybody with 100 pictures all at once, so we try to stagger it out every couple hours, that sort of thing. But it's definitely a collaboration for sure.
Oh, awesome. Well, David, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and having this conversation. I'll let you get back to your busy work and preparing excellent food on wheels.
Well, thanks very much. I appreciate you coming by.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.